everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I'm here with my friend and colleague, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. We just want to welcome you to the conversation, those of you watching live and on the replay. And we like to take Mondays to really super connect with you, especially those of you who are in business. And we have an engaging conversation for you today. So stay tuned. Make sure that you have your pen and paper ready because we're getting ready to drop some nuggets. Have a great time. Make sure you got your coffee because it's time for coffee, tea, and conversations with the Biz Chicks. How you doing this morning, Fran?
I am doing very, very well. And just want to say welcome to everybody watching live and on the replay. Good morning, Dr. Tachi.
Morning, Doc.
So today we're getting prepped to go into a new year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's fall. It's time of change. Seasons have changed. We talked about changing seasons. We've talked about making room for increase. Today, we want to talk a little bit more business specific as to things that we can do to increase in our business and things that we can do to make some forward progress. And I'm looking for something because we need to master some things in our business. If we master these elements that we're going to talk about today, you should see some growth, some significant growth in your business. So let's get started.
All righty.
One, you got to cultivate a growth mindset.
Okay.
Right. So, how do you do that?
Well, I'm thinking that you're going to have to learn from some of the mistakes that you've made over the years. You know, don't keep making the same mistake. It's okay to be down, but not to stay down. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have to, you should have a vision. First of all, let's start with the basics. Do you have a vision for the coming year? Do you have something that you want to achieve? Something you want to learn to do better? These are all things that lead to, you know, how to change your mind about something. If it wasn't working, learn to let it go. And if it's working, and see, this is the part I do not understand why people don't talk about more. If it is working, please keep it. And please grow it.
Right. Which brings me to something I saw from Seth Godin. Let me pull it up. And it was so good and so profound. I'm going to read this post. And he's very brief, so this is good stuff. He says, boring to who? Sometimes marketers, musicians, or speakers dig themselves into a solipsistic rabbit hole. Okay, I need to look that word up.
What is solipsistic? Okay, because
solipsistic rabbit hole. Okay, we'll figure that word out. They've heard their stuff before. They think everyone else has too. So they bury the lead, look for new labs, and most of all, try to avoid boring themselves, which often leads to confusion or controversy, or most of all, a muddy message. You're not speaking up to entertain yourself. You're here to teach the next group of people who need to hear from you. Empathy and communication requires you to repeat the stuff that works as you continue to explore the next layer of what might work even better. In the words of my late friend Jay Levinson, don't change your story when you're bored, or when your partner is bored, or when your team is bored. Change your story when your accountant is bored.
That's really good advice. Change your story when your accountant is bored. I love it.
That's have you because that reminds me of people who have something on the menu and everybody loves it, and
Mhm.
then they take it away because they want to do something new and new Coke. Leave the stuff alone that's working.
There you go.
So one of the masteries I would say is when it's not broken, don't fix it. Just leave it alone.
Okay, and here I'm going to create a banner for what I think we should, how to put that. And
So and being okay with repeating yourself because that's what business is. Your business is work what is working. I like that. That's a BizChicks summary. So doing what works and keep
Mhm.
doing what works. Um, and not changing for the sake of change or because you're bored. And you're going to have to train your mind to do that because it may be boring to you. Oh, we've been doing this for so many years. It's
but you
boring
know,
to you.
but you know what? And I can attest to this because as a trainer, I was a subject matter expert in a specific thing. And I trained that thing for over 10 years. I knew that subject backwards, forwards. I could give examples. I had, monitored programs in that field. And so, but I knew it. So it
Right,
was nothing for me to talk about it. Of course, I got tired of looking at the same slides, but every time I spoke on this subject, there would be a different set of people. And
right,
then they'd have turnover and different aspects of the subject would change, would be revised. Da, 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 da. So your people still need the information, is my point. Just because you know the information and you think the people who are in the industry know the info, there are new people coming in all the time. There are new things happening in the industry, and all of those things are things that you could share. But the basics are the basics. Stick with the basics if it's working.
right. Only time you change it when it doesn't work anymore. Your accountant says, okay, we need to do something different. But if it's
Okay.
bringing you income, keep it rolling. So mindset mastery, and that's one of the things, know when to change, know when
Mhm.
to switch up the game or whatever, because just because, and I'm going to say this too, maybe it's not working because you haven't worked all the parts of the system for it to
Mhm.
work before you hop over to, oh, that's not working, and you jump to the next phase or you
Mhm.
jump over somewhere else. Oh, that just didn't work. Um, did you give it time to work? Did you, and like some of the things that we've talked about before, is that something your customer wants?
Who asked for this?
And maybe it's not working because nobody asked for that.
Nobody.
Right. That your customers will let you know what they're needing. Um,
Mhm.
and we talked about this on TJ's program about social listening and tuning in and then hearing what's the temperature in the room, in the business climate. You're looking through or you watching online. What are the pain points people are talking about and discussing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, have you found your audience?
Well, and you, if you found them, are you listening to them?
Mhm. All of that.
And because if you're in business, it's because you're serving a certain sector of the population. And
Mhm.
and I'm reading through some stuff and I'm like, oh, this is really good. So who's your business market? Are you talking to the right market?
Mhm. The touch is right. Mhm.
So if you're talking to the right market, okay, do you have the right message to that market? You can't just just start talking about anything. Um, we are we are supposing that you know who your clients are, and you're
Mhm.
talking to them. And
Okay.
if you don't know who your clients are, where's my book? Oh, if you don't know who your clients are, you need to find that out. But for the sake of this particular conversation, you know who your clients are, and you've been serving them. You may be serving them for a long time, and you've been
Mm.
doing business with them. Ask them what they need.
Now there's a novel thought.
Right. So we're talking about mastery. So there's
Mhm.
mindset mastery. Then you need to learn sales and marketing mastery. Now, when we say sales, that's just it's a way of inviting someone. You tell people what it is that you have to offer, right? You
Mhm.
make someone aware of the things that you offer after you have studied what people are looking for.
Mm.
Somebody wanted a mousetrap. And so somebody studied the fact that, okay, people got tired of mice running through their house, and perhaps they didn't want a cat, but, um, and so they figured out a better mousetrap.
Mhm.
And, but there was enough people who wanted the mousetrap that people paid them to come and set up these traps so they
Mhm.
can get rid of the mice, right?
Correct.
Okay, so now we have a mousetrap, and the mousetrap person is like, okay, this is working. They keep working it. They don't just like, okay, stop and decide to do something else when this is working. They tell them, what do you put on the mousetrap? Peanut butter, cheese, something. Now you're teaching your clients,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
You are in engaging with
Mhm.
them. You heard them.
Mhm.
Hey, Fred, you engaged with them, you heard from them, they want a better mousetrap. And so you're providing a solution, a
Mm.
sale. Listening to them first invites you to talk with them, to hear from them. Then, once you find out what the need is, then you provide the thing that they need. And
Mhm.
it's not a high pressure thing. These people said they needed a mousetrap. So they're
Okay.
like, I need to call Bob because Bob said he has the best mouse traps.
Mhm.
And not because Bob is doing the high pressure sale. Hey, you want to buy a mouse trap? Hey, you want to? No. Bob knew that these people needed the mouse trap. He's told them, made them aware that he had the solution for their problem. And
Mhm.
then he offered the solution. Bob says, hey, Terry, I hear you have mice. I have a solution that's going to work to get rid of the mice. Would you like to know more about it?
Mhm.
And Terry says, yes, I'd like to know more about that as the mouse scurries across the floor to the other side of the room. Yes, I would like to know. I would like to know more about that. Okay,
Mhm.
so here's the mousetrap. Now, what we could do, and if Bob was smart, Bob has a subscription plan. Bob says, Terry, I will put these mouse traps in. You don't have to touch them. I'll do all the work for you, and I'll come back every 2 weeks to take out the old traps and put in the new traps. Would you like that? And Terry said,
Here we go once a week.
and so now Bob
You-
has secured a client. He sold her, but on something she wanted, not something he wanted to give her. So Bob sold Terry on a solution.
Mhm.
And now everybody's happy. Terry is got rid of the vermins and no more scuttering of the mice across. Bob comes in or sends his team in or however he does it, but his team comes in once a week now because she said she wanted it more often, and Bob charges for that. Terry has a solution that she's happy to pay for. Bob has a client that he's servicing, and everybody is happy.
Very
Wow.
much.
Offered a solution.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sale. Marketing is making, and marketing, I think, comes first. Marketing is making someone aware of the fact that you have something to help. It should be marketing and sales, not the other way around. And Fred is a marketer, so Fred, you can let me know if I'm off base. But you make yourself aware that you have something that will help, and they can avail themselves of that. So you need to master that, how to make people aware,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have to be the sleazy sales people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Fred said yes. Marketing is awareness and promotion. That comes before the sale.
Yes, because I can't buy anything if I don't know you have it.
Correct. So and we have to master the invitation.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you get the invitation out? Well, you can send the invitation out in many ways. You do social media, you make people aware through social media. This is what the advertisers do when you see the commercial for RVs or whoever is on the TV. They're making you aware that they have the meats, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And if you are hungry for the meats, you might call them up, or you might try to find out where your local Arby's is to go and participate in whatever they have offering. But the awareness came first. So you have to master making people aware of what it is that you have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that well, and people come to you, then you have the next part of the system, which is, and we talked about this in BizChicks, do what you promised.
Okay.
Make sure you made them aware, you offered them a solution. Now deliver on what your solution was.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about mastery now, and you have to get good at that. And after they've done business with you, and you've done exemplary service, and you fulfilled all of what they said that they needed, then you go back for the follow-up. How was your service?
And hopefully the cookies taste good, as you say, friend.
Hmm. And are you please tell someone else that, let your friends and family know that I'm here should anybody need something. And and by the way, if you like to increase your service to an annual service, we can do blah, 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 blah. Just let me know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you rinse and repeat.
Yes.
Invite, offer, do what you promised, follow up, and follow through.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I can do that. So you have to master the promotion, the sales, and that whole system needs to be smooth, and it needs to be consistent. if
Mm-hmm.
if I don't hear from whoever my service provider is, like I tell people who do hair all the time, you need to send out a reminder, a postcard or something. It's like, okay, it's time for your touch up. If they haven't booked for the next session, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like your hair, normally your hair is on a subscription for every 2 weeks.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
it's it's just not like your Netflix account, but it's on for every 2 weeks. You're going to go see somebody to get the maintenance or whatever. It's a maintenance plan. Um, and for the people for the clients who are hairstylists, yes, for the clients, because yeah, for the clients who are hairstylists, they need to, if they got clients who don't come in, if they just come in one time or whatever sporadically, you send them something, a text or an email. Hey, it's about time for your next tune-up or your next service,
Mhm.
something, just to keep them engaged. It is amazing to me how some people, they go and they speak or they do something and they do not get names and phone numbers of
Mhm.
how are you going to, they're aware of you now, but you haven't captured their phone number, their email, or anything. Oh, I have a speaking engagement. I'm
Mhm.
doing a presentation. Okay, so how are you going to get the people's names and phone numbers?
Mhm.
Now, a piece of paper on a clipboard works if you absolutely have to, but that is not the best way to do that, because I don't want to write my name down and then somebody else comes behind me. Now they got my name, my email, and whatever. I prefer um, a QR code where they can scan it, because we're in the 21st century, 24th second, I don't know. We're in a century where you can scan a code and fill out the form and get the person's in, um, send that person's info in. Or you can have them, like for BizChicks, we tell you to text Biz to 33777,
Mhm.
and then information and you'll get information and you'll capture their information so that you can give them further information. And I would say this too, please don't abuse that privilege. Like I bought two of something, I only
Mhm.
needed two, and now I'm getting 50% off for your next da 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 da. Let me wear these until I need the next one. And I understand I don't need an email every week from you.
I'm telling you, I have an email that comes every week from the same store. I mean, and it is so annoying.
And I don't shop that way. I know what I wanted when I shopped for it. I
Mhm.
bought what I wanted. Now that I bought what I want, I you can text me or email me once every 2 weeks, maybe, if you got something that I might want, or maybe once a month, or ask me how often would I like to be contacted,
Yeah, there's a novel idea.
because it's annoying to get the email and then uh I noticed, I remember I shared that hint, like if you want to clear your emails real quick, where you go in, if you're on an Apple device, you can go in and hit edit, select all, and then move to archive.
Hmm.
And all you have zero inbox at that point. But if you ever needed to pull anything up, you could just do a search and it would pull up that email. I've done that and I got 10,000 emails again right now. I was like, what this
It's, I feel you.
constant,
Bombardment.
right? It's like those sales papers that come in when you go to the mailbox and they're constantly coming across. I was like, okay, this has got to stop. So TJ says she has a email for junk mail,
Hmm.
and I guess maybe I need to get an email for when I make purchases, so I don't have to have that
Coming into your. Hmm.
to my main system. So anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, you've made yourself aware, you've performed, and they've taken you up on your offer. You made yourself, you performed the service. They are happy with you. You're following up, and understand streamlining your system is also part of this mastery. Get good at that. Which ways can I help? And that's part of the, do your clients want 15 emails or do they just want
Hmm.
um, one or two? These things will go a long way in the success of your business. Your operations mastery, streaming systems, workflows, processes to maximize efficiency and productivity.
Yeah, streamlining stuff, so that you get rid of a lot of the things that waste your time or the waste the time of your clients,
Right.
um, and making sure that the things that you're using are benefiting you the most. The systems
Right.
that you're currently using are benefiting you the most.
Or
If you
like
have a system that only takes checks, well, that might be a problem for your customers, or only uses a specific, um,
payment processor.
yes.
We ran into that. We were going to hire someone and they could only take one form of payment, which
Hmm.
is not one I'm fond of, number one. And I was like, I was ready to hand over the card for processing, right? To get started on this project. Well, we only take this. Well, you don't want my business then.
And you say this all the time, friend. Make it easy for people to give you their money. And we saw this when people switched from cash and checks and to being able to process credit cards at a reasonable rate.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it first started, it was like $3, $4, $2 a transaction. That's a pretty high fee. But then along came other things like Square, and other payment processors had little processors that you could purchase and swipe when swiping came into effect.
Now, some people who are in business, they may have heard of First Data. I'm naming names
Hmm.
because we use First Data in a restaurant that I was associated with. And there was a monthly fee, there was the credit card fee, there was an annual fee. There was so many different fees. By the time you got the client paid, you didn't have as much of the money as you thought you were going to have.
Hmm.
And
Severely cut into the profit.
it severe, and we were like, this is crazy. And then there was this long wait. You had to go through a whole, well, we need to verify you, which is fine. And we need to do this and do this. And then all of a sudden Square showed up. And we was like, oh, wait, I don't have to jump through all of those hoops.
And I'm telling you, it's really important. I was in a restaurant the other day. It's important to train your people. They could not do a simple transaction. They didn't know how to I was in a restaurant. They didn't know how to place the order. They didn't know how to run my card. I gave them cash. They went over to the bar. The bar took 15 minutes. I gave them cash so I wouldn't have to wait, right? 15 minutes to process my payment, to send me back my change. I mean, people, please. I'm just saying, I probably won't be going through there anytime soon because I was so frustrated with the process. And I asked the people, when do you work every weekend? Because I know I'm not coming in because you're not trained. Because I've been in there before and hadn't had a problem.
And thus that you're supposed to be practicing. And Fred has a comment. He says, communicate with clients, customers as you would want to be contacted.
Oh, the eyeglass guy who doesn't text or send emails to remind me of my appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And I was specifically asking them, can you send me a text? Well, no, we don't do that. Now, I was willing to go as far as to ask for email. That was a bridge too far for me. They don't do that either. Okay, so then now I'm wondering, what do you really do?
Are you keeping up with the latest technology in your industry since you are not keeping up with the latest communication technology?
You know what I mean? In the general world.
And I heard a really good definition of technology,
Mhm.
and I'm going to pull it up because I want to say it right. Okay, technology. Anything that makes an activity easier.
I like it.
That was like,
Anything that makes
an activity
activity
easier.
easier. I like it.
And that's a call. It could be a phone. It could be whatever it is, anything that
Mhm.
makes an activity easier.
I'm feeling it.
Follow-up appointments can be easy with a call or a text or email.
Hmm.
Writing it on a little card at one point was a good idea because that was working at one point, and they filled out the card and they passed you the card, but then that card dropped in the bottom of the purse with the rest of the cards, or dropped in a wallet, or you dropped it on the way out or
Hmm.
something.
Hmm.
And so no longer do we have that. So we're talking about some things to master. These are basic things to master in your business, things to pay attention to if you haven't already done that. And the last mastery we're going to look at is financial mastery,
Mm.
understanding your cash flow. And if this is something that you don't do, you should get used to doing it because, uh, a lot of people, I don't like to do the math part. Well, you need to know the math part because that's the stuff that keeps the business running. You need to understand cash flow, how to manage your profits, and how to reinvest strategically. So get somebody on the team that knows that and likes the math, that you can listen to
Mm-hmm.
and team up with. Somebody you can trust, get somebody on the team that you sit down and have a conversation about the money, because if you don't have the money, you're not going to have the business.
That's real.
So mastering the four areas that we talked about, cultivating a growth mindset, marketing and sales, operations, and all
Mm-hmm.
these things taken together will
Mm-hmm.
help you set the stage for consistent, scalable growth. And that is our coffee conversation for today.
Well, we want to remind you that if you're looking to become a part of BizChicks, simply text Biz to 33777, or you can join us over at bizchicks.net. We'd love to share with our community what it is you do and how you serve.
Yes, this is good stuff. Next Monday is First Monday, and we will be meeting up at Seasons 52 in Sacramento, California. So if you're in the
Mhm.
area, please join us. You can register at Eventbrite. Let us know that
Mm.
you're coming. And at this juncture, there is no charge. Next year, there will be different. There will be a slight fee to attend, but right now it is, I'm not going to say open enrollment. No, just come.
I love it.
Just come and join us. We'll have a guest speaker to come and share
That's
some
sweet.
wisdom and some nuggets, some really good food, some really great company, and we look forward to seeing you there. Remember, we're here to help you take the hassle out of your hustle so that you can build a profitable business that's fun to run. And we'll see you next time.
All right, everybody. I'm celebrating my birthday, so hey,
Oh,
I'll see
happy
you then.
birthday, Terry. Yes, today is
This is
Carolina's birthday.
my
So,
birthday month. So there we
yay.
go. Woo!
Woo.
Guys, we'll see you at First Mondays. We love you. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.